we can jump into a very, very different movie than The Naked Gun. So we're going to be talking the new movie Together, new horror body thriller starring Dave Franco and Allison Brie. It's from the folks over at Neon, who they're coming off an Oscar, a bunch of Oscars for Anora. They crank out a lot of good movies. I feel like Neon's kind of like honestly kind of starting to become like right up there in terms of quality with A24. They
Hmm.
just make really great stuff. And this was no different, in my opinion. Um, before we jump into it, just kind of give some initial thoughts. It did enjoy this more than I thought, honestly, and it's a very different movie for sure. But that's what I liked about it. It was original. I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen any horror movies like it. Um, and I think it was led by two really solid performances from Dave Franco and Allison Brie. I think they were both good in the horror aspect, but then they were both also like really funny as well. I think the comedy in this movie like made it a lot because it's such a ridiculous kind of disgusting concept, but it is kind of like tension tension filled moments are kind of eased like with some jokes, and it was a good time. Like my theater was dying laughing a couple times, but then we're also like screaming in our seats. Um it's quite the flick. But yeah, before we jump into like pros and cons, what did you think like in general?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It. I was actually when you say body horror, like there were definitely parts of the body horror. I guess I expected a little bit more body stuff to happen, and you get a couple shots that we'll go into the story in a minute. That you're like, oh wow, that's what it turns into. And then there's a I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely funny. I laughed. There was definitely some parts where I was like, "Oh, that's terrifying." But I think for the most part, it's just kind of just makes you uncomfortable for most of the movie. It's almost like you know what's coming and you know it's gonna get weird. It's just when that takes that turn, I guess. I agree. Acting's really good in this movie. I mean, there's only like four people in the movie, anyways. For the most part, you have Alison Brie, Dave Franco, and then you have the principal for the most part, and then you have like the girl that shows up that's her best friend. But for the most part, it's just them two. And you kind of get this feeling, which I think it does a really good job, like making you kind of feel like you like claustrophobic, you can't leave, and they're like all up on each other and stuff like that. They do a really good job at that. But I did enjoy it. I will say on the front end that I was maybe a little let down. Maybe I expected a little bit more. But that's not to say like I didn't, or that's not to say that I hated it. I think I expected a little bit more, maybe just from the like shock value side of things.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like you said, we also like have gotten a whole lot of really solid horror in the last couple of years. I feel like horror's really been making a comeback the last like 2 or 3 years specifically. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It wasn't just like the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen because I think that would probably be The Substance from last year, which you still haven't watched. But it was just very unique, and it was I think like the visual effects on all of the stuff like with them sticking together, like I think it looked great. Like it looked real. It was kind of reminded me of the girl in Deadpool and Wolverine last year. Forgot the villain's name, but when she would like put her fingers in the dude's eyes and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
Cassandra
those
Nova.
visual effects looked sick. I think the visual effects here look sick. Like yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't just like there weren't any just like incredibly shocking moments. You kind of know where it's going. Um, but still very unique from this the very beginning, like when their legs just stick together, and then it's their lips, and then it's when they're having sex, and then like their legs and their feet, and they just literally start like getting hurled together. It's kind of crazy. Like I said, I saw this actually like 3 weeks ago, a super early screening that they held in New York. Shout out LetterBoxd for putting that on for us. Yeah, it was a packed theater, and so we got a lot of like authentic audience reactions, and um, Yeah, and I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed how funny it was. There's like some really funny moments, I think. And I think it's just Dave Franco and Alison Brie are like at their core, they're comedians and comedic actors. Um, so them getting to like utilize that a little bit to kind of ease some of the super intense weird moments was cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it did like what it needed to do. It didn't overstay its runtime. The story wasn't just like super duper convoluted. It was just kind of like, you know what, you go in this cave and you get stuck together. I think honestly, like the most disgusting part of the whole movie was the first scene with the dog.
Oh yeah, where he like walks in with the flashlight and that's the first glimpse you get of it.
There's
And
like
they
two
are
dogs
acting really weird
charged.
and that's where I think the movie like thrives on is not really like the body horror aspect or like jump scares or anything like that. It's just the tension of you knowing what's coming. It's just when it's gonna do it. Like even with the dogs, like they're sitting there breathing at each other and they're like hyperventilating almost. You're like, dude, like when is this gonna just do it? Like, and then finally you like hear them they're making that disgusting noise, and then you just see them and their heads are like together. And then even in with the two main characters, um, the whole movie is just thriving on tension, and I think that's what I liked about the movie. And it wasn't so much that like, oh man, this is crazy, this is disgusting, or anything like that. Because when you describe body horror, you think it's just gonna be hella gross. Um, and it really wasn't, and maybe we're just watered down from some of the movies we've seen. Like, okay, let's if I took Cameron to that movie, she would probably throw up, but she hasn't watched as many movies as we have, so we're just kind of numb to it. But no, it's I think the tension is kind of what makes the movie. And like you said, there are funny moments. One of the parts that made me just like chuckle out loud is when they're on the floor, and they fall asleep in the different rooms, and they're like coming towards each other, and finally he like says like he says it so dramatically. He's like, "Babe, get the muscle relaxants." It like zooms in on his face, and I was like, "What? What is
Yeah.
that?" But
Yeah.
it made me laugh, even though it was a tense scene. But it's more the tension. I think they kill. Like they do such a good job in this movie with that, and just being like, "Dude, like neither of them can leave. We're stuck in this freaking house." And yeah, no, I that's really probably one of my favorite parts of the movie is just like how I feel when
Yeah.
I know things are coming.
Yeah. It is like a kind of a, I guess in a way, like a claustrophobic movie. Um, And I think it's shot really well. I don't really know who directed this, but I think some of the horror shots, like some of it was like pretty scary. Like the moment of like her on the other side of the glass, like you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
see her, but you
yeah.
couldn't see her. Just like some
Because
stuff
you
like
hear her
that.
get up out of the bed and you hear her walking, you just
Yeah,
hear her freaking running, and she just
yeah.
slams against that freaking window, man.
Yeah. And then like when he's in the shower and like his eyes are rolling in the back of his head and all this stuff. I mean, it's a creepy movie. They definitely nail like the tension part of it. I think at the end you do kind of know what's coming the whole movie. Um, so it's like all just build up until that moment. And then the moment happens, and I would say that's my biggest con of the movie is I think the ending was just abrupt. It was kind of what we expected was going to happen. And then, so spoiler, uh, if you made it this far, um, they eventually just completely merge together at the end. And then they merge into like this just version of both of them. Like they stay in that house in that neighborhood or whatever, and like I think a new family moves into a house nearby, and like comes and introduce themselves, and it's
No, that was her parents.
oh yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
those were her parents that were coming to see her, and then they opened the door to see this like whatever that
It was
was.
like a weird morphed version of
Whatever that was, yeah.
I thought that part was a little I don't know. I liked the idea of like them merging at the end, and it was really disgusting to watch. But I don't know, it just kind of like ended pretty quickly after that, and didn't really explain like I don't know, like you literally the whoever the person is, whoever you want to call them, opens the door, and then the movie just ends. I think the ending could have had I don't know a little more spice to it. Uh, I don't know. But what did you think? Do you
The
think?
ending's like the worst part for me.
Yeah,
Like the ending I was very underwhelmed with, and when you hear my score and what I gave it, that it's really because I did not like the ending. I was hoping for a little bit more from the cult or whatever aspect. Like I wanted like a big reveal, and we never got it. And then you get the like merged, obviously the couple that went missing at the beginning of the movie. We knew they were going to show up again, especially us because we just seen enough movies. And I'm guessing that was them, that was that freaking creature down there. But like, okay, why did they not fully merge together? Did they not embrace it? Or did they like why are they stuck down there? Stuff like that. And like the cave almost felt alive at times. I wish it would be more like, okay, why is the cave itself alive? Like, what's the deal with that? Um, and I think when they accepted to merge together at the end, like when they actually accepted it, that's when I kind of got like, oh, okay. I was hoping that they would like not want like when she was dying, I was almost like I think I would be more satisfied if she just died and like they didn't have to merge together. So when they finally accepted it, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, all right, fine, I guess. And I know that's like the whole movie is them being like back and forth and they want to get away from each other finally and whatever. And then you have the moment where Alison Brie's character goes into the principal's house or the neighbor's house or whatever, and like she's watching that video, right? And they get she's watching the two guys get merged together. And then like he obviously is two people, and when she hits him, he obviously like kind of breaks apart a little bit. It didn't show it either, and he sounded like he had two different voices. I was hoping to get more from that, but she obviously just ran out the door, and we never saw him again. I think the last like 15 minutes is just very underwhelming for me. I was hoping for a lot more, and when they were cutting the arm off, like they were getting to that point where they were had to cut each other's arms apart, dude. I was like, dude, this is like legit. Like this is good stuff. Like they don't want to be together. Obviously, like they are trying so hard to get apart from each other. And then I don't know, the ending is just very disappointing in my opinion. Like I know the reviews for this movie are very high, and I did like the whole movie up until that part. So once they realize like, James Franco is going to stay at the house and go back to the cave, it's just like every reveal was either underwhelming or just I didn't care for.
yeah. I mean that's fair. That's fair. And like I said, I was a little underwhelmed by the ending as well. I don't hate the idea of them end up merging at the end, but yeah, like you said, there were a couple things kind of I would have liked to see more of, maybe more of the cult or that weird neighbor guy or the cave. Like there could have been some more stuff, but I think overall, like it thankfully, honestly, it was pretty simple for the most part. They didn't try to just add too much to it, which is nice. But yeah, I understand those complaints, and like I said, I kind of agree with you on the anticlimactic ending after they merged together. Like I don't know, I feel like I could have seen something more, and it just I don't know, just kind of ended. But yeah, I mean, I would say like overall, me and you both did enjoy it. This
Hmm.
it's definitely like I mean, go check it out. You're going to see some stuff you've never seen before for sure. It's like one of those kind of movies.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get a couple laughs and you might throw up, but you know what? That's just a good horror movie, a good body horror movie. So, um, we can jump into ratings. I'm definitely higher on it than you. I gave it 4 stars, on Letterboxd and I settled at an 8.0. Um, I have it right above Companion earlier this year. I kind of got like similar vibes. I don't know, just like a couple's horror movie, you know? So yeah, 8.0 flat. I enjoyed it. Definitely like could have been better. It's not anything like Bring Her Back, which is my number two movie on the year. Um, but still an entertaining time and you'll see some weird stuff. So
Yeah, so this is probably you gave it an 8 flat. This might be our biggest one of the biggest discrepancies on the year given ratings and everything. So you gave it an 8. I gave it 3.5 stars and I gave it a 6.8. And I just think the ending just let me down a lot. There were a lot of good things in this movie, It's just I guess when you go into a movie and you're like, man, this is good, this is good, this is good, and you get to the ending and it felt like it just didn't all like feel worth it almost. I guess if that makes sense.
No,
Like
that
it
makes
almost
sense. Like the whole movie, they're trying not to, and then they just end up doing it. Yeah.
and I just wanted a little bit more. Um, and like I said, there are some really good things in this movie. The tension, like the claustrophobia, the feeling like you can't get away from somebody is so good. The ending let me down a little bit. And again, like the reviews are so good for this movie, everybody's gonna have their own opinion about the ending. So like obviously go see it, especially if you're into like you want to see a horror movie or you want to see something that maybe is not gonna jump scare you as much, which is definitely understandable. Go see this movie because it's like very tense and everything. It almost feels like tension wise, I put it up there with like Midsummer, like how it made me feel throughout the whole movie. Like Midsummer did not thrive on jump scares. It thrived on like making you feel uncomfortable, and that's what this movie did. It excelled at. So yeah,
Yeah.
three and a half
That
stars,
that's
6.8. So
yeah, that's why I was a little higher on it because like I think the movie got the job done that it was trying to get done. It's going for shock value, and it definitely has that for in a couple moments. So, um, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not too far of a discrepancy. You still gave it 3.5, and I gave it 4, so still relatively close.